Hey everyone, my name is Michelle White, and I'm the Creative Project Manager over at Reach. So I understand you're looking to transition from 4Winds to the Reach system. A lot of questions might start to come up, is it easy to use? How is my workflow going to be? Does my pre-existing layouts and content get transferred over? Well, I figured I'd put this video together to sort of answer some of those questions. Now, with all of our 401 clients, we actually offer the service where we'll actually pull all of your content and we'll recreate all the layouts you have. Obviously, this is also an opportunity where you can sort of mix things up, where we can start from fresh, you can work with our design team one-on-one, and we can create new layouts as well. We have an amazing onboarding team that is actually going to train all of your users on all the applications. Today, we're really just going to take a little sneak peek, kind of go application by application, and just sort of describe some of the capabilities. Now, after you watch this video, if questions do come up, please reach out to us. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy my video. All right, you guys, so keep in mind this is just going to be a high-level overview, meaning I'm just really going to skim these applications. When you guys do your onboarding, we really do train your users, by the way. We'll really explain everything that's kind of in each application. Something with us as well is we can always retrain your users, or if a new user comes on board, again, we can train them. We don't sort of charge for anything like that. All right, so I'm impersonating Dan here, and Dan is from Molex. And again, every client has a different sort of setup, maybe a different sort of organization. But I'm just going to sort of walk you through Dan's scenario, so that way you can kind of understand, what that potential might be. Now, in Dan's situation, Dan's what we call a super admin, meaning that he has access to all of his different locations. And as you can see here, as I'm sort of sliding down, you can see that he has access to all of them. Now, at any point, he can go into, say, Chengdu or Costa Mesa, and he can sort of see the players in there. He can see the content that's being uploaded. He really can monitor sort of, what's running on those players. Now, again, depending on your role, you might not have access to all this, right? So in his situation, he does have individual local users. Again, that's what we kind of call them. Meaning that when Chengdu, those users log in, they're only going to see the Chengdu facility. And then on top of it, they're only going to see the applications that Dan has given them access to. Now, Dan really does limit them to sort of the media library and playlist, because those are the two applications that are really, really going to be where your users are going to spend most of their time. And so he tries to consolidate, that way he's not adding any confusion. His users are very, very simple and just generic users. Now, in the dashboard here, we really have two views. And again, it just depends on your level of permission. So in Dan's situation, right, he's that super admin. He has this, what I call a local view, meaning that when he goes from facility to facility, he's seeing only the players in that facility. Now, what if you wanted to see all of them, though? What if you wanted to consolidate this into sort of one view? That's where this global view right here sort of comes in handy. So as I selected that, as you can see, all of these individual facilities right here are being consolidated. And it's sort of just under one umbrella, making it easier for Dan to, again, monitor, make sure what's running is obviously what's supposed to be on the screen. So again, he can get a live screenshot right here. I know he does frequently sort of kind of monitor and just kind of check the screens here and there. Of course, you can always talk to him and kind of figure out how often he is doing that, but I do know that is sort of something that he does. So I'll kind of go back to his kind of main account here. So yes, there's two views there. Again, dashboard, the main focus here is that you can refresh, reboot, and then get that live screenshot. Player application. So each player that's in the system, of course, has its own sort of property tab. Property tab here is just going to tell us some really basic information. What is the player? What is the motto? Of course, you can change the name, the building location. Is there any emergency alerts assigned to it? Player version, signed version, and sort of so on. Within the property tab, we have what we call a stream schedule, meaning that you could technically have multiple layouts sort of displaying or sort of cycling through. So the stream schedule basically tells the player what layout it should be showing. And then we also have RS-232 capabilities. If you're not familiar with that terminology, it's basically, depending on the model of your TV, it actually allows you to automatically turn on or turn off the screen, maybe mute at certain times. You can change the input at certain times. And so we do have that sort of capability built in. Layout editor. So this is actually where we build our layouts. A lot of people coming from Four Winds, they really like to sort of keep their current look. And so we'll actually build all the layouts for you. Of course, we can obviously train your team if this is something you want to learn. But for the most part, sort of that onboarding, we really do like to sort of have our design team, really just kind of work with you one-on-one and sort of rebuild those layouts. You can have as many layouts as you want. There's no sort of restriction or anything like that. And of course, you can always change it up as well. All right, so the media library is really where everything that you've ever uploaded into the system will be held. So when I say upload into the system, I'm referring to content, right? JPEG, PNG files, PowerPoints, PDFs, videos. This is where it gets held. Within the media library, we do have two different functionalities. We have a create announcement, which create announcement I always refer to as like a Paint Pro. And I only say that because when I say it, everyone's like, oh yeah, I know what she's talking about. So this actually allows your users or yourself to basically create good looking on the fly sort of content. And then we also have Canva. So we've had some clients who, use Canva to design their media content. And what we can do is we can pull those templates in, or you can use Canva to create. And so that's really the main two reasons why you would be in the media library. But for the most part, a lot of your users are going to spend a majority of their time in the playlist. But again, for whatever reason, if you do need to find that asset, the media library is where it's going to be held. And then, of course, you can see there's a lot of different search and sort of filter functionality built within. All right, playlist functionality, as I mentioned, this is really where your users are going to spend their time. Your users can have as many playlists as they want. Again, during sort of that onboarding process, we'll make sure that we help you, we'll kind of guide you, we'll kind of create the playlist for you. But again, your end users have that flexibility where they can change the name, they can see what's running. Again, a lot of sort of where they're going to manage and control. Now, in Dan's situation, just to sort of explain what you're kind of seeing here, now Dan likes to have what he calls a global playlist. Global playlist allows Dan to push content to his individual facilities, right? He can push just to Chengdu, he can push to just, Fremont. He has that flexibility, and he does it all under one umbrella, which is his master account. And so you can see this is why he has a lot of playlists, because he's able to stay in one area and sort of monitor and control and sort of, push the content as needed. Calendar application. Again, you may or may not use this, but a calendar application, there's really two routes here. Now, calendar, when I say that, I'm talking upcoming events, right? Things that are going on within the facility or within your corporation. Some people, they use like EMS, or they might use Google Slides or, Outlook, right? They might have some sort of integration in their software that they're using to put these events in. The calendar application is going to allow us to integrate that data right in. Another route is you can manually come in and just like type those events in. So you may or may not see the calendar in your network or your setup, but again, that's kind of the goal or the point of that application. All right, so social media, as you can see, we can do Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a workplace. We actually don't sort of monitor, or we don't restrict you as far as how many profiles you want. So if there is sort of a handful of profiles that you want to link up, obviously there's no restriction there. Datalist application. So datalist application, think of this as like tabular data. Now, if I said tabular data and you're like, I don't really know what that means, no worries at all. Datalist is like an Excel file, right, where I have multiple columns and then I have multiple rows of information. Datalist can get used for, again, like I said, tabular data, maybe Excel file data, metric data, KPI data. The Datalist application, it's a strong application because it's something where you can come in and you can manually put those events in, or it's something where we can pull from like an API, we can do like an FTP, an email, JSON format. There's a lot of ways we can get the data into this application. User application, so again, as you can see, you can create as many users as you want. Now I know Four Winds does restrict you on that. Here at Reach, we do not. So you can have as many users. And sort of what I was saying in the beginning is there's obviously different roles or different permissions that you can assign to your users. Again, Dan being the super admin, when he logs in, right, he's seen everything. He's got full access. But then you're going to have sort of those generic users. So again, we have sort of those different levels of permissions that you can apply to each person. Support tab, obviously this is our way of communicating to you. Again, anything that might be going wrong, maybe there's just something, the player's just kind of acting a little wonky. This is where you can actually get a hold of our support team. So you can enter a simple support ticket. Communication corner, of course, just like any sort of digital signage, right? We're always doing releases. You can always sort of refer back to see what was released, or maybe you just kind of want to see what's coming. Communication corner, again, is just our way of communicating to you guys. Tutorials, of course, again, as you sort of come on board, we're going to throw a lot of knowledge at you, and you might forget about something, which is totally fine. Obviously, you're going to have a personal install and account manager that you can always talk to. Otherwise, again, you can kind of come in here and watch these tutorials. And then, of course, frequently asked questions. And then the last and final application is called the preview. The preview basically is just going to display your layout. So if I click on, say, fitness schedule, as you can see, the layout then starts to display. Again, this isn't a live view of what the layout is, right? This is just sort of, I guess, kind of a summary of what might be playing in the playlist or if your schedule's going. If you really want a live screenshot, of course, you're going to want to go into the dashboard and sort of grab the screenshot there. Thanks again, everyone, for taking the time to sort of watch that video. So if there's anything that you want to learn more about, or maybe there was just functionality I forgot to mention, please reach out to us so we can help answer your questions. As always, I'm looking forward to working with you and your team, and not only growing your digital signage, but obviously becoming a partner. Have a great day, everyone.